So, go back a year. Get a time machine. Track me down. Hey, Shannon, you're that hockey guy, right? Yeah. So, a year from now, there's going to be a pandemic that's going to shut down large parts of the world, and the Canucks are going to be in the second round of the playoffs. I turn to you and go, Canucks aren't going to be in the second round of the playoffs. That's the level of surprise I would have had. And so that's where we are. The Vancouver Canucks and the Vegas Golden Knights. I honestly I'm really happy about this. So Vancouver, they knock out the St. Louis Blues, the defending Stanley Cup champions, and now they get matched up against the team that, according to odds makers, are going to win the Stanley Cup. Perfect. So you move through last year's champions onto the team that everybody seems to think has a really good chance of being this year's champions. This is exactly what you want for a young team that's learning how to win. For a young team that is going on this run that kind of feels amazing. And I think that, too, for Vancouver, the win in the series over Minnesota can't be overstated either. So this feels like it's a train that's sort of, chugging down the tracks, and where can this go? Because they've won 7 games since the return. So this is uncharted territory for this franchise under this leadership group with Bo Horvat as the captain. And it has arrived a lot sooner than I might have thought. So December 15th, 2019, these teams met in Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights won that one 6-3. Then 3 days later, a game that I witnessed in person, I was right there in the lower bowl, Vancouver beats Vegas in overtime 5-4. Amazing, fun game. Both of these games were not exactly defensive juggernaut type games. This is a series that could feature a lot of scoring. This could be the series that, much like Edmonton, Chicago, for instance, in the play-in, where there were these crazy swings in play, that could happen here. Now, for Vegas, it's going to be interesting because I do think Vancouver will be a tougher challenge than Chicago proved to be, where Chicago went out in 4. I do believe that Vegas wins the series. I'm wearing Vancouver because, again, in these series, I'm wearing the jersey of the team that I'm cheering for to win, as I did in round 1. Worked pretty well for me in round 1. We'll keep her going. This may be the staple from now on going forward, right? So, because they all got out of the first round, so keep that thing going. So on the Vegas side, we'll look at Vegas first. Stone, 8 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, and tremendous two-way forward. He is the player that the Canucks should be most concerned with, but just barely. Riley Smith, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in 8 games. Marchessault, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in 8 games. And Carlson, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points in 8 games. Those 4 forwards, and then you combine them with Shea Theodore, who had 8 games, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. This top 5 scoring group for Vegas is fantastic. And so if you're able to shut down Stone, you've got to worry about Carlson. You got Smith covered. Marchessault might get clear. This is a team that's fast. There's a lot of depth to. Oh, and Stastny only has 1 goal and 1 assist in 6 games. He's expected to score more. Stevenson I've got on the board because, of course, he won a Stanley Cup in Washington in 2018 against the Vegas Golden Knights. He has 1 goal in 8 games. Stevenson, pretty good forward for Vegas, and I would expect a little bit more out of him in this round. Now, the big controversy with Vegas, which I'm going to straight out weigh in on this, I don't think it should be, but I think there is, because of the tight-knit relationship that Marc-Andre Fleury has with the fans, I think that there's just this feeling of Fleury being better than he might be right now. 2-0 with an 886 save percentage in total. Leonard 5-1 with a 904 save percentage. I believe Leonard's the better goaltender. And I believe that Robin Leonard will be the starter for the Vegas Golden Knights next year. And I'm not sure how this plays out. Fleury, when he was in Pittsburgh, to his credit, when Murray was taking his job, there wasn't really any jealousy that we ever saw. There wasn't really any concern about that. And I never saw anything from Marc-Andre Fleury to make me think that if Vegas decides to give Leonard the lion's share of starts, and he's not getting the kind of starts that he was, that it's going to be any kind of a problem. So I don't see any reason to think that Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be petty or think about himself here. And I do think that Leonard's he's just the better goaltender. It's just that's just how I see it. And we'll see whether or not Vegas does go with Leonard and stick with them, or if they lose a game against Vancouver, if they go to Fleury. It's a nice luxury to have that you can go to Marc-Andre Fleury. Ask Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has missed having that to go to when they've needed it. So on the Vancouver side, it's easy to take Vancouver lightly. And it might be easy to say, well, there was some luck involved and it was their special teams and there's something to that. But we're watching as Elias Pettersson in real time is becoming a superstar on another level. 10 games, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points for Pettersson. JT Miller, 10 games, 5 goals, 5 assists for him. All right, now you can see the numbers. JT Miller, 10 games, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. And I saw fans of the Rangers and Bolts saying, yeah, JT Miller, he's not a playoff guy. He is in Vancouver. This trade has worked out really, really well. If not for the JT Miller trade, Vancouver is not here. If you do not agree, you can let me know in the comments. And I don't care. Because, Miller is a huge part of this team. Quinn Hughes, 10 games, 1 goal, 9 assists, 10 points for Hughes. And his blossoming into one of the best young defensemen in the league is there. I have seen some people saying he's one of the best defensemen, period, in the NHL right now. I'm not going there. I will leave it up to people to decide as they witness his evolution through these playoffs. Bo Horvat, 10 games, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points, proving he might be the most... Okay, how do I put this? Inspiring captain since Linden. And again, I don't want to use that kind of terminology because it would kind of diminish Sedin. And I don't want to diminish Henrik Sedin. He was a great captain. But there's something different with Bo. And there's this quality to Bo Horvat that I think has been understated. And now it's really starting to come out during this run. Brock Besser, 10 games, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Don't trade him. Do not trade. If anybody in Canucks management ever pays attention to anything that I say, and they shouldn't, but if they did, don't trade Brock. Just don't. So there's that. Louis Eriksson stands out as having 0 points in 9 games. But again, and I make a joke of it, but saying that he tries. There's also the fact that they're 7-2 since the return with him in the lineup. So that's an important stat to note, that they're better with him in the lineup. And for whatever reason this year, they were better with him in the lineup when he played more minutes. I couldn't figure it out, but that was there. That was the thing. And so Eriksson, while we can all talk about how he doesn't produce the way it was expected when he was signed, they're very good when he's in the lineup. It reminds me of back in 2011, the Jeff Tambellini rule. For some reason, the Canucks with Tambellini in the lineup, they had an excellent record. When he wasn't in the lineup, they didn't. Didn't make any sense. But that was the rule back then, and this is a rule with Louis. Louis a bit more important to the Canucks than was Jeff Tambellini. No offense to Tambellini at all. I liked him, but, he was gone shortly after that 2011 run. Didn't matter how much I said, but we have a good record with him in the lineup. They didn't keep him. Virtanen, 1 goal, 1 assist. Those came in the same game. He's played 9 games. Virtanen is going to need to up his game to knock Vegas off of theirs and to counter Ryan Reeves. Reeves is not on this board, but he is that big wild card that for the Vegas Golden Knights is there. And he had 4 assists in his appearances during the playoffs for Vegas so far. So don't underestimate what he may be able to do. So Virtanen is going to be counted on to kind of counter that. Markstrom, 7-3 in the return, .929 save percentage. Again, Markstrom is being very much underrated coming into the series against St. Louis. And I'm wondering if that's going to continue, if everybody's going to pay the attention to Leonard. Might be in the best interest of the Canucks if they did. So there's no playoff history between these teams, obviously. The Canucks is the first time they've been in the playoffs since Vegas came into the league. And, of course, Vegas has never missed the playoffs. And this is their second time into the second round. The first time we went to the second round, they ended up going all the way to the finals. The expectation is the finals, and lifting the cup after. So the expectations in Vegas are kind of high. That being said, let's talk about where I'm grading things and who I'm favoring on this. For forwards, I'm kind of torn when it comes to the forward groups. I like what Vancouver has, but the overall depth for Vegas, I think, is better. And I think I would be lying to myself if I said, well, the depth, I like Vancouver's better because I like Mott and Beagle more than Carrier and Reeves. I can't. The physicality that Carrier and Reeves bring to every single game they're in, relatively clean on Carrier's side. I can't say that with Reeves right now because people may still be kind of antsy about the one hit Reeves through there. But in general, pretty clean. And this is a team that has a lot of depth and a lot of versatility with their forwards. Defense, I think the Canucks are underrated on defense. But you've got Schmidt, you've got Theodore, you've got Martinez being added. I think Martinez is a huge add. So I'm leaning towards Vegas on that side as well. I think the Vegas defensively is better and deeper than the Vancouver Canucks. When Myers went out, it took about a game for the Canucks to really adjust. Notice they're okay now, but we'll see if Myers is back for this series as well, because his big physical game is important if they're going to threaten to knock off Vegas as well. Goaltending, yeah, I'm going to give that to Markstrom. I'm going to give that to the Canucks. Markstrom's been great. He's been absolutely fantastic. And even though St. Louis seemed to have a book on where to shoot on him, they just couldn't get one through him. So we'll see whether or not Vegas fares better in that category. Because the one thing Vegas has that Vancouver doesn't, there's no pressure on the Canucks. Nobody right now is expecting the Vancouver Canucks to knock off the Vegas Golden Knights, myself included. And there's no pressure on these guys to do it. They already know that the city of Vancouver is proud of them. They already know. They're well aware of all the partying going on. Stetcher really appreciates it, by the way. I heard that through firsthand knowledge that Stetcher's really excited about this run, and he's really happy about the support that the fans are showing. So even though there's no fans in attendance, and we've talked about how that's definitely something that's jarring, the players are well aware of the fact that the fans are supporting them, they're watching these games, and that they're excited about the results. And in Vancouver right now, the excitement is there. It's there in Vegas. It's expected in Vegas. It is not expected in Vancouver. So I do give them the edge when it comes to the no pressure side of things, and we'll see how it goes. Let me know your pick in the comment section below as always. And I know people are going to ask where I got this hat. I got this one through Lids, and there aren't any anymore. So I thought, I'm going to wear a jersey I don't normally wear in a hat. Nothing matches. So I'll do that. And yeah, so there you go. There's that. Let me know your pick. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. This is going to be a really fun series. Again, I do think Vegas probably wins this, but I'm just going to enjoy it. The Canucks are playing with house money, and it's nice to see them in the second round for the first time in 9 years. It's so long. And yet somewhere there's a Buffalo fan going, I got to tell you, and probably an Arizona fan going, yeah, long time, 9 years since the second round. Yeah. Well, Arizona, it's been 8 years, but it still feels, and of course, then there's the Toronto aspect of this as well. There's a lot of fan bases right now going, it's only been 9 years since the second round. All right. Thank you guys for all your support. This, like I said, a lot of fun. Kind of surprised we're here, but hey, it's 2020, so why not? I will talk to you again soon.